Oh boy, things are spinning crazy here in the Amico sphere. Just last night, John Alvarado appeared on the DJC Game Studio show Amico Forever, the first time they'd done one of these in like over a year. And he seemed to confirm quite a bit, including Tommy Tallarico is back with the company working with them. They spent all the pre-order money and it was a lot riskier than perhaps they showed investors. Let's look at it and talk about it. But first, before I get to it, I want to show you what Tommy Tallarico originally said when he said on Brian's Man Cave, this is way back years and years ago, that they would never take any pre-order money until the system was ready.
How soon after the October reveal will you be able to pre-order? Now, there's a question. Is there going to be a pre-order?
No.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
No, because I don't want to take people's money unless they play the system.
Have a product to show them.
But the reason I'm doing that is because of all of the crap that has happened in the past with Ouya and the Chameleon and now the Atari. We don't want to be looped in with those people. That's a completely different thing.
So Tommy didn't want his company to be lumped in with the Ouya or Coleco Chameleon, which was clearly a scam, or even the Atari VCS, which at the time had a lot of problems, even though they eventually did deliver a product. But they eventually did take pre-orders. Why the turn? Well, he would say that's what retailers and investors want. But don't worry, it's 100% refundable at any time, including in these video clips that Sensible Person captured.
We have to answer to like retailers and investors and all this stuff. It's like they want to see real numbers and real commitments. So it's like $100 down. That's a real commitment to somebody. But again, 100% refundable at any time, because I don't want you to think we're like, taking your money or using your money. You get it back whenever you want. It takes some money as a commitment. And so I said, you know what, let's do $100. That's a pretty good, that's a serious commitment. But I want to make it 100% completely refundable. Whenever you want your money back, we'll give it back to you.
But as time went on, skepticism about the security of the pre-order deposits was put under a microscope. But nonetheless, the Amico faithful were ready to defend it, with RetroBro even saying on a live stream that according to Tommy, the funds were put into an escrow account.
You could put a pre-order down, but it's a $100. It's $100. 100% refundable if you cancel. So they're not taking pre-orders, but from my understanding, I think Tommy said it on one of my live streams, it goes in like an escrow account. They don't even really use that money. I don't think they legally can, because if they're and as a company, why would you use that money? Because you'd be risking it. You have to give it back if they cancel.
That would be embezzlement, So you can't.
You
can't do that.
So in that clip, Rab even says it would be embezzlement if they used the money for something else, and everyone on the panel seems to agree, including Mike Mullis. Later on Amico Forever, hosted by DJC Game Studios, Rab was back on defending the company when it was discovered that maybe the money's not in an escrow account, but that's okay, your money is still safe.
And to clarify, it was Thomas, Templars had mentioned that Nick had mentioned that the money was not in escrow. If it's not in escrow, I mean, it may be in, revenue. I'm forgetting the terminology for it, but Intellivision still has cash. They are still in operation. They are still a company. You see one of their employees in the chat here, John Alvarado. If you are worried about not receiving your pre-order, then request a refund, and they will handle that.
No one's trying to scam anybody out of $100 deposit.
And
I've not heard of anybody who's requested a refund not getting one so far.
So there you go. DJC even reassures his audience that Intellivision isn't out to scam you from your $100, although I would add that if someone took some money for one purpose and used it for a separate purpose without delivering you what you gave them the money for, that you pretty much had been scammed out of the money. However, In early 2022, Intellivision did the Start Engine campaign trying to raise more money. When Phil Adam and John Alvarado appeared on a live stream with Mike Mullis, both John and Phil seemed to confirm that you could still get your deposit back whenever you wanted, after a hesitation.
For whatever reason, if any of the risk disclosure stuff were to come true, right? People that pre-ordered could still get their deposit back, correct? At any time, right?
Yes.
And even if they like the game, even if they're looking forward to it, they might have other short-term cash flow needs and decide that they need that $100 back, and that's fine. Like Phil said, it creates an opportunity for someone else who missed the boat initially to get in, and that's why we gave them that guarantee so that they could feel comfortable doing it, and if necessary, they could get it back. That's totally fine.
Yeah. And again, that's up to them. That's not up to us. It's their buying decision or whatever.
So here it's as if Phil is saying, this is your money, not ours. If you want it back, that's fine. And John Alvarado saying, we understand short-term needs come up and it's your money. But things would change.
We were biting off a huge piece because making a new console is a huge endeavor. So we knew it was a high risk, but we were, willing to try to make it happen. And things didn't go as we planned. Things took a lot longer than we expected. And ultimately, the company ran out of money before it could manufacture the console. Our last fundraiser that we tried to do to get the money we would need to manufacture, crashed and burned. It didn't work out.
So that was last night, May 21st, 2025, on the Amico Forever live stream. John not only confirms that they ran out of money, assumingly including the pre-order money, but also that they viewed creating the Amico as something that was a high risk. But that's not how Tommy Tallarico presented it when he raised millions of dollars through Republic.
We have the best games in the world, the best game developers, the most incredible team. We have purchase orders in our hands. We have the system and the hardware completed. We have a $150 million line of credit for manufacturing. We have the biggest licenses in the world. The rocket ship has been built. We are on the launch pad, and we just need the fuel to take off.
Let me ask you, does that sound like Tommy Tallarico was presenting the appropriate amount of risk for the investment that he was trying to raise money for? It doesn't seem like it to me. So the Start Engine campaign in early 2022 failed. The company ran out of money. With what little they had, they tried to come up with those pilot test units. Why? Because they were trying to get an investor to give them more cash.
We continued, that was like in 2022, I think, early, maybe March, something like that. And we continued on. We had to pretty soon lay off a lot of people right after that. And we still had enough people though that we went on and created the pilot units that we sent out to a lot of people, something that we could manufacture if we had the money, but we didn't have the money anymore. And we were hoping that doing that would allow us to kind of pull in some investment, someone that would be interested and say, okay, yeah, let's make this. But that didn't happen. So after a while, we had to basically lay off everybody, including me, as
oh, yeah, no,
hey,
no.
So,
yeah, I know. And a lot of times you were working for free trying to just keep it going.
Well, exactly. So at that point, we could have just packed it in and said, well, we tried, we failed, we'll declare bankruptcy, and that would have been the end. And nobody would have gotten any refunds back. No one would have gotten a console. No one would have ever played the games.
So let me just add a few cents real quick to this. Just because they declared bankruptcy doesn't mean the games would fully disappear. The developers could have published them on other platforms like they're doing right now. And if the Amico was such a great system, someone else could have bought the rights and made it. Of course, that probably wasn't going to happen. Nonetheless, they were going to continue on, publishing games, trying to get more investors.
But a few of us, a handful of us, including me, decided that we want to try to keep this alive. And we're willing to work for free for a while to at least try out this other idea. Well, let's get these games out as software on other platforms and see if we can leverage what the work that we've done on the games to create some revenue and keep going and try to, repair the company to the point where we could then start generating money and maybe attract some investment and get back to the goal of creating the console.
So they're working for free, trying to keep the ship afloat and earn money for refunds, right? That seems admirable.
And so we were doing that, and then we eventually sold some IPs, including the Intellivision brand, which was a huge one.
The classic, yeah.
To get some money to kind of keep us alive as we're going, because you can't work for free forever.
Earlier on, John seemed to show care for the people who are owed refunds, saying if they declared bankruptcy, they wouldn't have had anything. The truth is, those pre-orders should have been kept separate, and if there was that much trouble, they should have been refunded first. So you would hope that if Intellivision Entertainment or Amico Entertainment got any extra funds, that they would prioritize it to the people that they owe money to through the refunds. But it sounds like they're going to pay themselves first, which even if it's not a lot of money, it still should go to the people they owe.
But it is my goal to keep the company alive and keep it growing and improving so that we can get everyone the refund. And for the people that are willing to hang on, get them their consoles. So that's my goal. That's the goal of Phil Adam and Tommy and Jason Enos and a few of the people that we have employed still that are helping us with the engineering on Amico Home and all that.
Wait a minute. Tommy's back? Phil's still there? Jason's still there? Other people are being employed? How many people are getting this money that should go to the people who are owed refunds?
I want to mention that we have not put any marketing money into promoting these games yet. And what we are doing now with putting them on Steam and on Switch, we have reserved a marketing fund to start when they're out on those platforms, and that marketing will include for Amico Home. And from there, if it does take off in a strong way, then we're on our path, on our phase plan to get to manufacturing controllers and consoles.
So in order for the controllers and the system to be manufactured, these games are selling would have to take off in a strong way. Just how strong? They've already raised, according to themselves, over $17 million and couldn't put out a system. How many games would they have to sell? Let me just give you a potential spoiler alert. I don't think whatever they sell will be enough. And judging by past performance, they most likely will blame critics, if anybody, if they don't sell well enough. But let's go on.
We have engaged a marketing company that's helping us, and Tommy is primarily spearheading that with the marketing company.
Wait a minute. You have money set aside for marketing and for a marketer that Tommy's actively working with behind the scenes? I'm sorry, people who put down money to pre-order a system did not give you money to market games on other platforms. Not only that, Rab, who previously said it would be embezzlement if they used pre-order money for something else, was given an opportunity to speak. What did he have to say after the revelation that the pre-order money had been spent after all?
Do you have any burning questions for us, Rab?
No, not really.
Well, then that's great.
Amazingly, despite all the struggles they've had and even just attracting enough investors to get things going, they're still talking about someone else possibly acquiring them, which is exactly what you want to hear if you're hoping a company will release a system.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a potential kind of a ultimate exit strategy, right? You either go public or you get acquired by somebody if your company is doing well, and ultimately that could happen. I see this company something that would get acquired versus going public.
Later on, Mike Mullis joined the stream. This is the same guy who agreed on Retro Bros live stream that you can't be spending the pre-order deposits, and also made it a point to let viewers know on his own live stream that they could still request a refund if they so wanted. What would he have to say about all this?
The other one was that I had a chance to play way back was Armor Battle.
So we made an investment. They did a certain amount of development, but then after that, we basically ran out of the money, like I said, and so they went ahead on their own dime and continued developing it to put it out on Steam. So they've done a lot of put their own investment in it. So we'd have to come to some kind of agreement to get it onto Amico Home.
So I'm not sure that he was aware that the developer had posted the game over a year ago, and I reviewed it, called Armor Blitz on Steam. And here, John Alvarado seemingly confirms some of the many stories that developers weren't fully paid. As he said, they were paid to a point, but then the money ran out. So they continued working, the developers, on their own dime. Just how many games were actually fully paid for, and how many developers were stiffed halfway through production? On the stream, John also said that the new company, Happy Home Games, was created to help differentiate it from the games created just for the Amico. Of course, it doesn't make sense to create a whole new company when they could just use Amico Entertainment. Why spend the extra money to do this? Questions like this, as well as questions about the $400,000 in back taxes owed to Delaware and other questions, were ignored in the chat. Personally, from what I observed, this stream established a few things. Customers were misled about the security of their pre-order deposits. 2, investors were misled on the risk of this endeavor. And 3, it doesn't seem likely that the console or controllers will ever come out, because I don't see Evel Knievel and Finnegan Fox really tearing up the charts in such a way to do such a great undertaking. I just hope that all those who are owed a refund are given refunds, and whatever the investors are owed are given whatever they're owed. That's just what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you next time.